Let me tell you something. James Harden wants absolutely no parts of the Golden State Warriors, man. I'm getting a sense that it's for James Harden's perspective, it's deja vu all over again. And even though the media isn't really going in on him like they should, James Harden is choking again right before our eyes. Now, statistically, James Harden didn't have a bad shooting night, statistically. But if you looked at the game, you can tell that James Harden's points didn't really have the impact that they would normally have on other teams, okay, or in other games. They can't beat this team. And if, they can't beat this team. They might win one of the games at Houston. They might win one. But I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised if Golden State swept the Houston Rockets. Now, a lot of times I'm wrong. Okay? A lot of times I'm wrong. But I get the feeling that the Golden State Warriors are really pumped up to play the Houston Rockets. They're really pumped up to play the Houston Rockets, man. And last night they were able to win. The Golden State Warriors able to win that game despite the fact that Steph Curry had an all shooting night, and expectedly so because he suffered a dislocated finger. Now, you didn't see Steph Curry go through all of these fucking gesticulations on the court and all of these feminine theatrics. You know, he fucking hurt his hand. He put the little, what do you call it? The splint. That's what I was thinking of. He put the splint on his finger. You know what I'm saying? It affected his shooting somewhat. Hey, but he still hit some big shots down the stretch. He hit them when they counted and when they mattered. Okay, that's the problem when you look at shooting. When you look at like shooting numbers out of context, like he only shot 3 of 12, or he didn't shoot well from downtown, but he hit the ones that they needed down the stretch. James Harden, he and the Houston Rockets were out of sorts from the beginning. Okay, he kept turning the ball over. He was getting his shot blocked. It was deja vu all over again, and he got inadvertently hit in the eye with a finger. Somehow it turned into two eyes. And, I've been poked in the eye before. We've all been poked in the eye. We've all been three stooged in the eye before. You know what I'm saying? Why you? While playing basketball, it happens. Somehow he comes back. He has a cane. He's going around the court with his cane. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out like where the rim is and all this shit. And you know what I'm saying? He acting like his eye was gouged out so bad that he needed a glass eye put in and shit. All of a sudden, he's the penguin and shit. But you know what I'm saying? But he's able to knock down his free throws and shoot 3-pointers and all this type of shit. And that's what I'm gonna say about James Harden. Okay, I took all of that guff last week when it came to Russell Westbrook, and I didn't like it. No, I did not like it because I really like Russell Westbrook as a player. But Damian Lillard hit that 3-pointer. Man, I wanted to fucking, oh boy. If I had a fucking gun in Portland, man, I'd be locked up right now. I'm just joking, of course. I wouldn't do anything to hurt Mr. Lillard. I'm just speaking cinematically, okay? If it was a movie, I would, blow his motherfucking head off. But I took it, okay? And rightfully so, because Russell Westbrook went back to that hero ball bullshit and he shot the Oklahoma City Thunder out of the game. All right, and it wasn't the first game of the series he did that. And that's that. You know what I'm saying? But I want the media to do the same thing to James Harden that they did to Russell Westbrook when. Notice I didn't say if, but when the Houston Rockets lose this series. Because all fucking year we keep saying that the only team that could beat the Golden State Warriors, and Max Kellerman was the leading cheerleader for this bullshit. The only team that could beat the Golden State Warriors, okay, that we cover is the Houston Rockets. If James Harden hits his shots, if James Harden hit his shots, how many fucking times we heard him say that shit? But if Stephen A. James Harden hits his shots, but every fucking time he doesn't hit his fucking shots, okay? All right. First game of the series, he was 9 for 28 from the floor. 9 for 28 from the floor, only 4 of 16 from 3-point range. Now, I think last night he wasn't as bad shooting the basketball, but he turned the ball over a lot. And in effect, he started off the game horrible. He and the Houston Rockets. Um, Andre Iguodala, old man Iggy, is going off in this series. Draymond Green is playing like the Draymond Green of 2016 and 15. Okay, they're both. Matter of fact, both of them playing like they did back in 2015 and 16. They're reinvigorated and reanimated and rejuvenated. They really pumped up. And Clinton Capella, especially the first fucking game of this series, nowhere to be fucking found. Kept talking about how badly he wanted the Houston Rockets. Then he fucking does absolutely nothing, pretty much. Only scored 2 points more than fucking Pistol Pete Maravich did. And he's been dead for 20 years in game one. And didn't do that much more in game two. You know what I'm saying? Now, Eric Gordon stepped up in game two. All right. Cooled off a little bit toward the end. You know what I'm saying? But Houston just don't have what it takes to beat this team, man. They don't have enough firepower. All right. And they've taken a step back defensively from where they were last year. You can see from watching this series that they really do miss a guy like Trevor Ariza. All right. And this James Harden shootathon, this one man approach, it loosely reminds me, not play by play, not stylistically, but just the overall themes and how the teams are kind of constructed a little bit. A little bit. It kind of reminds me of the 80s Bulls going against the 80s Pistons. It will not work the way they're playing. They're playing Mike D'Antoni style is reminding me a little bit of Doug Collins. All right? Giving Michael Jordan the ball and getting the fuck out of the way. It's like give James Harden the ball and everybody else get the fuck out of the way. Too much standing around. This isn't going to work against the Golden State Warriors. This ain't, okay, the New York Knicks when you went off for 61 points. This ain't the motherfucking Memphis Grizzlies, my nigga. Okay, these are the defending two-time world champions. You got to change the way that you're playing. This isn't going to fucking work. All right? Let's be honest. They actually looked better when James Harden's goofy ass was not on the court. Now, I'm not saying they're a better team without James Harden, but it changed up the dynamics of the team a little bit, and they actually outscored Golden State when James Harden's Rutherford B. Hayes, Ulysses S. Grant, Scollier, Colfax, beard having motherfucker, Google them niggas, and you're going to get a good laugh because his beard does look like them. Okay, his Henry A. Wilson beard having ass was out there putting in those eye drops and faking the eye injury. They actually outscored the Golden State Warriors. Okay, but it's all for naught. Klay Thompson hit some clutch shots toward the end, like he always do. When it comes to clutch time, when it comes to crunch time, I actually fear when I'm rooting against the Warriors. I actually fear Klay Thompson more than Stephen Curry, even though I know statistically Curry is the better shooter. And he is the better shooter. He's arguably the best shooter in the history of the NBA. Definitely the best 3-point shooter we've ever seen. Um, but it's a 2-0 Golden State Warriors lead. They won, I think, 115, 109, I think it was. All right. Um, and the scene shifts to Houston. But I don't think it's really going to matter. I think it's a chance Houston's going to win game three, but the Warriors are going to win game four. All right. And then they're going to win game five at home. But there's a chance the Warriors might sweep this fucking team. And if you're the Houston Rockets, it's going to be a complete embarrassment to perform worse than the AC team did against the defending champions. And when the Houston Rockets lose this series, and I say win, All right. I want the media to shit on Harden the same way they did Westbrook, if not even more so, because the media has been shitting on Westbrook the whole season any fucking way. But they've been pumping up James Harden to be the best offensive player ever, better than Will Chamberlain, better than Michael Jordan, better than Kobe Bryant, better than Jerry West. All right. Better than George Gervin. All right. When in reality, he's a limited offensive player. And you might say, well, Michael, how can a limited offensive player average 36 points a game? Nigga, you don't know what the fuck you talking about, my nigga. How can he be limited? To me, James Harden is what he's been doing this year is the ultimate byproduct of playing in the D'Antoni system. Okay? Remember in the D'Antoni system how guys like look how Steve Nash looked when he was playing under Mike D'Antoni. I'm not trying to take away from Steve Nash, but before he played there, Steve Nash was not on his way to the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden he's playing in the Mike D'Antoni system. He's putting up 18 points, 11, 12 assists per game. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Okay. But I know that guys like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan be looking at James Harden and be like, man, if I only could play in a system like that where I could shoot the ball like that. And for those of you guys saying, well, Michael Jordan shot the ball more than James Harden did this year. Well, Michael Jordan also rarely took a three-pointer in that stage of his career, and James Harden probably takes maybe 13, 14 three-point attempts this year. Probably makes about 6 of them, all right? And I know he's taken over 1,000 three-pointers. I think he's the first NBA player ever to attempt over 1,000 three-pointers in a season. So you take away 6 points per game, what do you have from threes? You have 30 points per game. Add 6 points to Kobe's and Michael's totals in 2006 and 87, respectively. What do you have? You have a guy averaging, with Kobe, 41 points a game and Mike, 42 points per game. That's why it's not that outlandish when people say Michael Jordan could average 45 points per game this year, in this era. He could. He could. You know what I'm saying? But to me, James Harden is somewhat limited, man. The best player offensively in the NBA is Kevin Durant. He's able to do it in the regular season, and unlike Harden, he's able to do it consistently in the playoffs. And I'm going to end this video on this note. You notice how the media was quick to criticize Kevin Durant when he, uh, when Golden State blew that 31-point lead, right? Notice how the media somehow singled out Kevin Durant to blame him, which really behind is the reason behind it because they're still salty because Kevin Durant called them motherfuckers out for being LeBron fans, okay, fanboys, which is true. But they didn't give Kevin Durant the credit that he deserved because after that he had a stretch where he averaged 40 points per game, individually. But they didn't mention that though. But they mentioned when Kevin Durant somehow let Patrick Beverley get into his head, which is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life. That's like saying, well, do you guys remember when Jordan's Bulls lost to Cleveland and Mike only shot the ball 15 times? I think Jordan let Craig Elo get into his head. Like, what? So, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant proceeds to bust that ass and he doesn't get any credit. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, man, James Harden is struggling again like he always do. And the Warriors are going to beat him. And I don't want to hear no excuse about no eyes. I don't want to hear no excuse about he ain't getting free throws because great players are able to adjust. You know what I'm saying? And great players aren't able to just rely on free throws. You know what I'm saying? I remember a game when Keem Olajuwon scored 48 points and he didn't shoot one goddamn free throw. He didn't complain about that. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear none of that shit from you James Harden fanboys. But that's all I got to say about that. Tell me what